1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, go ahead, Kirk.
So first question I'll ask you, how did you ever get into sport to begin with?
I got into sport in the flat bottom classes. Started in K-boats, which is blown alcohol circle boats. And we did that for about 9 years. And decided that maybe hydroplane racing would be the next step, so we went into unlimited lights. Had Ron Jones Sr. build a brand new boat and went out with that for a couple of years and enjoyed it and went with this circuit. And then when Steve Wimmer passed away, they had the opportunity to buy a whole complete team, which is about the only way to start. Trying to do it piecemeal is almost impossible. So in 1998, we bought the Smokin' Joe's boat, and we actually hired Jim Lucero and his entire crew to finish out the '98 season. Ran the last 3 races of the year, and ended up winning in Hawaii. So after that, I was hooked.
You got into sport for a year, 3 years. Why did you get back in, and why did you get back in last year?
We ran 2 boats for several years, which is a daunting deal. I don't think I'd ever do it again, but decided to sell one of the teams, which the opportunity arose to sell it. And actually my daughter is on a full ride scholarship at the University of Hawaii playing volleyball. And so we kind of decided we wanted to take at least spend more time watching her play. So we took a year off to see what happened. And as it turned out, my boat ended up winning the Gold Cup. And I was on vacation down in Laguna Beach, California, and made the decision to come back. The other thing was that the Budweiser boats became available, and that's really what brought me back. You know, that opportunity to run their equipment was something I just couldn't pass up.
In your view, how has the ABRA progressed in their term as the governing power?
Well, I've watched it through 3 different hands, because when I started it was the UHRA, and then we were Hydroprop, and then ABRA. ABRA helped heal up some of the issues that popped up during the Hydroprop era, which is good. We're still struggling with new race sites, and we need to grow the sport. They're doing the best they can to get the word out. I think it's a good thing. And of course the boat count has come up. You know, with Budweiser out of the sport, there was a lot of opportunity both in equipment and with the ability to run competitively. I mean, this is as competitive as this sport has been probably in 20 years. I mean, we go to any given race course, and there's 6 boats qualified within 3 or 4 miles an hour of each other, and any one of the 6 boats can win the race. So that hasn't been here since the piston era. So it's pretty exciting. I hope it continues.
What can we do to get the fan out there who maybe was here 20 years ago and then left the sport? How can we get them back and then draw in new fans to the sport and watch you guys right there Sunday?
Well, boat race fans, you know, for the most part we call them hydroplane geeks or whatever, but they're the old. They may be the kids of the group of the 70s and 80s now. They understand the sport. I think the biggest deal is trying to get people to understand the sport. If they know what makes one of these things tick, and if they understand how fast they really are, they look so big that, you know, some people don't think they're going that fast, but when we're running almost 200 miles an hour, when we're lapping 2.5-mile race courses at 165 miles an hour, you know, I think they can start to equate that to NASCAR, and of course we have a skid fin and they have bank corners. It's just a matter of getting the competition out there so that, you know, it's an enjoyable weekend. Coming out, you know, in most places, you know, beautiful country, you know, on the water, and putting on great shows, and I think we're there.
You have a new driver this year, David Bryant. Tell me about his progression from Evansville to this weekend so far.
Well, Dave, we've been watching Dave for about 2 years, and he's a flat bottom driver. We came from where we came from, and one of my previous drivers, George Stratton, was the same thing. George drove all my K-boats, and he's the closest thing I've seen to George Stratton, and that's kind of what we wanted. He's doing a great job. I mean, Evansville was his first time driving a hydroplane, not a boat. I mean, he's already run 50 heats this year in super stock and K-boats and pro stock flat bottoms. Got plenty of racing experience. And he's learning it. He's learning it real quick. He puts the foot down and doesn't lift. So we're dedicating for the most part this whole year to him to learn what he needs to learn, and he's coming along really good. I'm happy.
I hear a lot about K-boat drivers, and Bill Walk and Mike Allen were in the sport and they came here. What's the similarities between that sport, that racing, and unlimited racing?
Well, today unlimited racing it's a 2-foot sport. Your right foot holds the throttle down, and your left foot controls the canard wing. And a flat bottom driver drives a boat with a down pedal on his left foot. They basically do the same thing, different principles, but they keep the boat on the water. So it's a natural for a K-boat or a flat bottom driver to know what to do with his left foot. In the old days, before canard wings, there were flaps, and before that there was nothing. All you did was lift your foot in the corner, you know, the old Blue Blaster days and things like that. That canard now for us is everything. I mean, we're going so fast, you literally have to know how to fly the boat and have to put the boat back down in the water. So knowing what to do with your left foot is a natural thing, and these guys come out of the sport they're in knowing it. They just need to know the difference in the feel. You know, a flat bottom driver is very conscious of altitude. When his butt gets going up in the air, he's real quick to put the down pedal back down. These boats change altitude, you know, up and down from coming up on plane to rough water and so on. So it's just a matter of him to get used to the fact that when the thing rocks around and reels around that nothing's going to happen. And the other thing is learning the skid fin, learning that when that thing hooks up, that's his best friend, is that skid fin. Turn left and just hang on.
How's each race course, it was a tri-oval, dog leg, and actually the long straightaways, how's each course maybe going to help in his development, Bryant's development as far as? Well,
Evansville was interesting for him because he doesn't, you know, not very often do you run in the world of flat bottoms anymore a tri-oval or a kink. The courses that Dave's used to running are just like Madison. They're 2 corners on each end that are symmetrical and a long straightaway. So he's enjoying this. It's just a matter right now of him figuring out where to put the boat in the race and getting comfortable inside. When you go into unlimited hydroplane racing and you're the sandwich between 3 boats, and you're taking, you know, you've got to trust the guy on your inside to do what he's supposed to do and the guy on the outside to do what he's supposed to do, because all you're seeing is about 40 feet of water in front of you as you turn through the rooster tail. That's a daunting task. So that's what we're getting ready to get him to learn, and it'll take the rest of the year for him to get really comfortable. They're kind of co-crew chiefs, but if it wasn't for Matthew this year, this boat wouldn't be here. He worked his heart out. As always, I don't have any full-time employees anymore. The first 5 years I had 3 full-time employees on the boat. So we let it sit a little bit at the end of the year, and then you go into the thrash mode. Fortunately, we had nothing to do to the boat except paint it this year. So, but Matt's responsible for that, and then getting all the equipment. The year that we took off was difficult. Taking a year off and then thinking you can just pick it back up was a big mistake in a lot of ways. So we concentrated, all our motors went back up to Hydroplanes Inc., and we're all put back in good shape and run on the dyno, so we knew we could count on them. So, and the boat was in pristine shape when we got it. And it was just a matter of doing the normal maintenance and being here. But it's still 10 to 15 weeks of on weekends especially, of Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night till midnight type of thing. And then the last 4 weeks, it's around the clock for all week long for 4 or 5 guys to get it ready. So, but Matt and Adam did a great job of putting everything. They grew up in the sport, brought them racing the first time when they were, I think, 8 and 10 or 11 years old, and so they've seen everything, I think.
A new paint job this year, which is I think the sport needed a little more color in, and you guys added to with the nice scheme. Where did that come about?
That's
scheme?
Matthew's idea. He said, "Dad, trust me," so I wasn't allowed in the boat shop, and then they had it painted, and they started faxing me pictures and stuff on my cell phone. So he did a great job, and we really wanted to get the boat a different look. We didn't want to come back looking like the same thing as we were, you know, USA Racing Partners. The boat was always the same. So we kept the colors the same, but I gave him a free hand with what he came up with, and I think it turned out pretty neat.
Good deal.
You don't want to see my face.
I was going to say, can this be your mother?
It's my mother.
All right, go ahead, I'm rolling.
Man, I guess this is your. I can ask you a question. How is it to work for your dad and work on this boat as the crew chief, car chief?
Well, it's always been a pleasure. We started racing kind of as the boys' night out type thing back in I guess it was 1991. It was just me, my dad, and my brother. Of course, I was 11, but it's kind of always been our hobby. And you know, like I said before, most dads go to the baseball park together, and we head out to the boat shop and start working together. So it's a blast. There's nothing like working with your dad or your brother on something as amazing as $1 million piece of equipment.
You have a brand new driver this year. What do you? How the progress, I guess, from Edwardsville on Friday morning until right now?
The progress is the guy has not. He's amazing. He's just amazing. You get on the boat, and everything you tell him once, and he goes out and stands on the gas, and he's learning as he goes. And the transition from the flat bottom into the hydroplane, as it's worked for other people, seems to be working for Dave. Not to mention he's just a very smart racer.
What do you tell him when you're on the headsets with him when he's running? What do you tell him, or what do you tell you, or how do y'all interact on the radio?
Really, it's the same chatter that we've always had with the drivers, even the veteran drivers we've had in the past. It's just telling him speeds, letting him know how his lines are on the race course, and if there's anything we want to tell him that he's doing wrong, we kind of just relay that over the radio. But nothing's really. No, the only chatter we've told him is how fast he's going.
We're doing a story about the patents and how important they are to this sport. Talk about the patents as far as
Well, you know, Wes and Scott and Diane, they're all integral as part of the ABRA family, and taking care of us at the races. You know, with Diane in the scoring tower, and Wes and Scott taking care of the logistics of the sport. And you know, without them, we'd all kind of be running on our own. I guess you'd say.
We can edit.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what we'd say. Oh God. Well, I'm just trying to think of, you know, they monitor all the equipment, and everybody would kind of be running wild. Yeah, yeah. And they take care of all the meters and measuring devices on this, and make sure that everybody's got a fair advantage once we get out there. Everything's the same.
Talk about that. The average fan out there, they don't know what's in those little black boxes. And we talk about what's in those and how important are those.
I wish I knew. We've never been able to open them. No, it's the same style of race pack computer that most of us on the beach are using. And what it is a monitoring system. And what they're looking at is engine speed, which is N2, and then they're looking at the fuel flow. They're looking at a high pressure, which is coming out of the fuel cell, and then they got a high pressure, which comes from the fuel control up into the cooler. And what that's doing is that's just measuring how much fuel we can, you know, flow through these 3,000 pound or 3,000 horsepower monsters.
So the average fan out there, when they hear the black box N2 violation, that's
the black box. Yeah, they're watching. You know, we're limited on the N2 to 110%, and we're also limited at 4.3 gallons per minute. So what they're doing with that black box is just like a flight recorder in your everyday aircraft that you fly. What it does is it monitors everything that's happening within the boat as far as they're concerned, which is just the fuel flow and the N2 speed.
You talked about you got creative control, shall we say, on paint.
I did. I just, you know, it got the paint itself. I got tired of all yellow, and we used to have some blue and some orange on it back when we first started in '99, and I just want to make it look like a '60s hot rod. I thought that'd be kind of fun, and I love the scallops. I've always loved scallops, and he wouldn't let me do flames, so I had to think of something else.
Well, it looks fast, you see.
That was the idea, and actually that was when we were getting ready to lay it out. Mom came in and said it better look fast sitting still, so it was a little bit of pressure making it look good. But I had some help from a gentleman, Rob Russell, back in Vegas, and it's just it was a blast. The blue came off of, actually I had '92 half-ton pickup that I had painted blue and silver, and that was the blue, and just decided it would look good on a race boat.
Let me see this question. The milling period, the 5-minute milling period, how important that is? Fans of the beach, if they're new to the sport, they're not quite sure what that is. You can't explain to them what that is and how important it is to the race itself.
Well, the 5-minute gun, as you probably heard, and the announcers say it over and over again, it's the race before the race. And the guys that are really good at controlling the boat speed while it's under power out on the race course is how they really determine where they're going to be once they get to their mark. Counting down the 5-minute gun, they need to be at certain places so that they don't come crawling up to the start. You want to be at speed as you come across the start-finish line when it hits 0. And the guys like Dave Villwalk and John Theoret and Jimmy King and Steve David, all those guys are just masters. I've been doing it for so long that they just, it is the race before the race, and that's mostly sometimes where it's won.
Is that something that David Bryant is learning each race now to learn how to do that? And
oh yeah, he's done clock starts before, but it's a different beast when you're coming from an 18-foot flat bottom, which you can get to and accelerate from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat, where these things might take a little bit longer to get rolling up to speed. And not to mention it was 18 foot by, I'd say 4.5, 5 feet wide, when these things are 30 feet by 14 feet wide. He's a little cautious of who's around him, and that's fine right now. And baby steps are the key for us. It's just a matter of getting him comfortable. And we've told him if it takes all year, it takes all year.
You guys watched him over the years progress at this point. Now you've got him this year. What do you see in him to hire him for you both this year?
Just besides the fact that he's a heck of a racer. That was number one. Number two, a while back we had a gentleman driving for us, George Stratton, who was a heck of a racer, came from the flat bottoms, and a lot of his driving style reminded me, Dave's driving style reminded me of George, except with a little more of a level head. And Bud Gilbert, who raced with us for years, passed away last year. About 2 years ago, when we were discussing the future of the sport, he came to me and said, if you ever want somebody to really learn and drive this race boat, he said, go get Dave Bryant. So we sat down this spring, and that was the decision. I went down to Parker, Arizona, and met him while he was racing his flat bottom, and the rest is history so far.
This is a pretty big family affair for you guys. Now, we can't get your mom on camera, so what can you say about your mom?
Besides, she is an ornery, mean. No, I'm just kidding. She's the best. Without her, I don't think the crew would eat, drink. I think we'd all be passed out in the hospital right now with IVs hooked up to us. But she's the heart. She's the real boss. And without her, we wouldn't be here.
Perfect. Kirk, anytime.
David, you're new to our sport, and your first race was David last week. How have things progressed for you from last week to now?
Mainly just getting more comfortable in the seat and getting used to what the boat's going to react and how it's going to react. This course obviously is a lot different than last weekend, but it still turns hard. So it's just getting more in the turns, getting comfortable in the turns, and the more time out there, the better we get.
What's your background before you came to London?
Flat bottom, circle boats, super stock, pro stock, K boats. It's never run an unlimited or a hydroplane in any sport. Just flat bottoms mostly.
Explain the similarities between flat bottoms and unlimited as far as Bill Walk drove them and Mike Allen and you're in the sport. Kind of similarities. The
main thing I guess really is you drive it with your left foot. You have on the flat bottoms you have a pedals, just same pedal assembly as you have in one of these unlimiteds. And you try to fly the flat bottom down the straightaway the same way, and in the turns you on a flat bottom you plate it, here you wing it. So trying to get the boat reset and trying to fly the boat as high as you can down the straightaway, obviously without going over.
Explain to people out there, the average fan who watched the milling period, 5-minute milling period, what's that all about, and what do you try to do as a driver to get in the right position to start the race?
A lot of it's luck. A lot of it's just getting in the right place. It depends on what lane you're trying to get. Here, actually, outside's not bad because of the turns, but you're just trying to kill time off the clock and get yourself into a position where you can hit the clock right at 0. And I still got a long ways to go on that. We didn't do a lot of that in the flat bottoms, only on the national events. Most of ours were flag starts, so I don't have a lot of experience at that. So that's what I really got to work hard on.
You see these guys cut across the course and whatever. What's that all about?
You're trying to kill time and keep in front of everybody, so that you're trying to. If you have a lane like you want lane 1, you're trying to. These guys go down here. You're watching your clocks and you're trying to get into your lane and hold that position and get it down slow. So you're just playing tag out there. You're trying to cut and who gets where first.
Talk a little bit about the speed difference and I've heard them talk to you, especially last week, about trusting the skid steer.
Yeah. Well, you know, what's funny is, you know, on one of these boats you're in a canopy and you're going on the straightaway, especially during qualifying testing, it's smooth. So the speed sensation is not there like it is in a flat bottom where it was open cockpit, you know. But when you go into the turn and you throw that thing into a turn, then you know how fast you're really going because it just pins you against the side. So you really, like I said, you got to trust that fin and make sure it's going to stay on there and you can get through the turn.
How's it drove for the Gregorys to get to the family feel to the entire team? How's that so
Oh,
far?
these guys have been great. We've gone up and they had us up for dinner, and we had dinner up there in their place in Vegas, and the whole team's been just great. I mean, they're the guys that do all the work and get this boat ready, and I get to go in and drive. I mean, there's a lot of work on these things, and they worked all winter, the Gregorys and all the crew, and I mean, rewired it, repainted it, all new motors, new gearboxes. So they started off the season fresh, and they've been nothing but just wonderful.
Now we can move around here away from Matt. You can tell us what you really think.
Yeah, I read that off my hand here.
I had another question. I just lost it. Went too important, I guess.
Okay. I think we got it.
Okay.
Good.
That acceleration from about 100 up is real quick.
Holy shit.
Good job, buddy.
Awesome.
You like it?
Oh, yeah.
It only gets better now.
I got to get, the belts were pulling me up a little, so I'm trying to look down, so I need to get back down in the seat. And get the steering wheel was cocked like this. I think it'd be better for me this way, or one more knot.
One more knot.
But
What's up, fellas?
it's one of those things like Mike Allen came in and talked to me.